Welcome back, everybody, to round 2 of the Griffin Fun-Draiser. If you haven't checked out the first half, go back and watch the first video and get caught up on where we're standing. This is the round 2 front 10. Do a little scoring update here in a second. Alright, so after round 1, here's where we're sitting. Dylan at 1 under, myself at 2 over, Simon's at 1 over, and Dana at 1 under. Keeping things close.
Mama won't let you down. No, it's a beautiful thing when you live out your dream, live out your dream. It's a beautiful thing when you live out your dream. Now tell me, what does that mean?
Oh, come on. There it is.
All right, we're starting off quick here. This is Dylan with his drive, starting at 4A again. And he hangs that out just a little bit too far right with that judge. Ends up finding the OB there.
Oh, baby. Hang on.
Straight. Keep going straight.
Hang on.
Stop.
There's Dana's drive.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, worked up.
Kind of terrible, but okay.
Thinks it might be okay, but it ended up leaking a little bit long there. He ended up finding OB long. Simon's flirting with the short OB, but manages to skip up, and he's safe there.
Wow.
By round 2 now, it's been a little bit warmer, the sun's out,
Putt.
and the ground firmed up, so the tee pads aren't as slippery as they were in the first round. Made it a little easier to get on that and make sure I got the distance, but I almost found the OB far left. So Dylan and Dana went OB, and they're going to be taking their putts from this drop zone. It's roughly 70 feet or so. Dylan just keeps it close. Dana just floats that turbo putt up and just barely misses the basket short, trying to save their pars.
You can go ahead. Where you at? Right there? Yeah, go ahead. I'm closer.
Yeah, rub it in.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Dad.
Simon came up just a bit short on his birdie putt there. I'm taking my relief after borrowing a mini from Dylan, and I have probably about a 25-footer or so. Try to get my birdie.
Oh, my goodness.
Just didn't commit to the height there. Left a little bit short. This is a tough little temporary hole. Not a lot of landing room close to the basket. Forces you to either park it or make a long putt.
No, you're good.
Not one of us are able to capitalize on it. Moving on to hole 5 here. Simon puts this thing on a laser. And just misses the basket.
Anthony caught that
That would have been such a sweet ace. Ended up carrying himself a little bit long there. He has a long birdie look coming back. I'm going with my truth here. Threw it just about how I wanted it. There we go with a nice little park jab. There's Dylan with a great shot with his felon. Trying to erase that OB stroke that he had in the last hole. Ends up parking this one. He's going to get the easy birdie.
Come on back. Come on back.
Dana's leaking a little bit right. Catches the trees that are out of bounds, but just barely stays in. Very fortunate break for him. And he has a low ceiling, so he's going to go with a pretty standard putt here instead of a traditional turbo putt. He actually left himself a pretty long comebacker from there. Fortunately, Simon couldn't capitalize on his birdie look there. He's just been all over the baskets today. Just can't find the center of them. And unfortunately, Dana misses his comebacker there, and he's going to be taking a bogey. Back-to-back to start off round 2. And there I am feeling nervous about that putt and tried to miss it. Just barely caught the last chain on the right side there.
I tried to miss it, but.
After 2 holes, it's pretty knotted up. Dylan has a 2-stroke lead over the rest of the field, which is all 4 of us.
Oh yeah.
Nice. What did you throw there? Sergeant. Yeah, because I want to make sure it's getting left. Yeah.
That's me with my Sergeant there. I actually left myself a really nice little putt putting uphill back at the basket. Probably only about 15 feet short of it.
Looks so weird in the air, man.
And Dylan holds on to his truth just a little bit too long.
All the yawn.
Finds those trees on the right side, but he's safe.
It's doing the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Well, this flag got moved way out.
It did get moved.
Someone moved this flag about 2 feet to the right.
Oh, 100%.
Works great for me. I like it.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's looking like somebody moved the flag. That first round, this tee box was completely slippery. And there was really no traction at all.
Almost like last round, but a little bit.
Someone bumped it
Yeah,
out to
just
the
less
right to give him
shitty.
some better footing. Simon takes advantage of it and puts himself in the same spot as he did round 1.
Oh, settle down now. This is a similar spot to last time.
Branches on that tree in front of Dana there make it a little bit difficult for both Dylan and Dana to get the disc up and actually give it a good birdie look. And here I am with a short birdie look. And just completely don't commit to that putt. Miss it left side. Part of my game that I've been working the most on this year. There it is, Simon. Great putt. Found the center of the basket. The rest of us are going to be tapping in our pars. Something about these short holes that just make it so much more difficult. Doesn't really allow you to throw a full shot and try to power down on anything. Just makes it difficult to hit your lines. And there I am powering down on my deputy, and it's just not a committed shot for me. End up releasing it really early and right into a tree. Dylan likes that hyzer line there, which now that I've seen it a couple times, I think that would be the shot that I would take, but it's too late for that now. Dana's going to try to not go too far like he did in round 1. Ends up throwing that perfect, just behind the basket. From this angle, I don't really have a good look, but I'm trying to give it enough to get around the backside of that tree and fade in towards the basket. So I'm taking my time to line that one up.
No, I had a line at it.
Just hung on to it for a little bit too long. And Simon's been hitting a lot of bands, and my brother Dylan's been hitting a lot of cages. That's typically his miss is low.
Turn. Yeah, dude.
It's a little fire though.
Is there another deuce on the...
And this is our CTP hole, where none of us had a good shot in the first round. Simon gets a solid one there. Puts himself deep in the basket with a good birdie look. Round 1, I did a little bit of a run up there. And it's not what I did in practice. So in round 2, I went and did the standstill shot and still just missed my line there. But it felt like a better shot in general.
I was thinking about going forehand there.
And Dylan probably hits the same exact tree as he did in the first round there. Somehow I managed to hit the tripod of the camera there. Probably saved me a couple feet.
Nice. So we're saying this might be...
Dylan lays up to get his tap in par. And Dana and Simon are going to have some birdie looks here. Just a bit high for Dana. All right, there's another great putt from Simon. Putting him at 2 down for the round now, through 4 holes. Now he's sharing the lead with Dylan. He tees off on hole 9 first. Piers the line. That's a tough tee shot there. There's only one really visible line. I imagine that some people probably play the flick line out to the left there and try to get it to fade back to the basket, but I think all of us would like to just go right up the middle. Here I am with my suspect. I'm trying to throw this a little bit flat. Hope for it to just turn over halfway down the fairway and get a nice little finish back towards the basket at the end. And I park it. Fortunately, it wasn't the line that I was aiming for, but didn't want to tell anybody that right away. Dylan completely gets a hold of that. Puts himself probably 50 feet deep in the basket. Nice little approach shot by Dana there to save his par.
Line so pure right here. Yeah, so is that exactly the line you're going for outside that tree?
Nope, I'm going inside.
Looks great.
Dylan didn't even want to think about that. He just laid that up and he's tapping his par in himself. Simon just low on that putt. Text Simon after while I was going through the video editing and told him if he could just drop his putt by about an inch, he'd probably be negative 20 for the round. Or for the tournament, that is. All right, so I managed to squeak away a birdie, and everybody else is tapping in their pars. And just like that, I'm within a stroke of the lead myself. Now that the tee pad was a little firmer, I was able to find my footing there and able to hit my line and get it out through the gap. Shout out to my mom and dad who came over for round 2. It's my dad standing there next to my brother. Awesome shot by Dana there. This is a tough basket to get to. Simon ended up finding himself in a similar spot to where I was in round 1. It's a tricky spot. Yeah, and that's going to leave him an outside the circle look to save his par. Boom. What a putt by Dana. Great birdie there. And he big putted me. Just didn't get that putt up high enough to give it a shot at the chains. I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's a little hitch in my wrist. And I notice that more times than not when I miss a putt, it has something to do with that hitch. So that's the biggest thing that I've been working on this season, and to be honest, I fixed it, and it's been feeling a lot better. I just came off of one of my best putting tournaments that I've had all, maybe even in my career, honestly. But all year for sure.
Stay away from the OB.
Dylan does a good job making sure they stay short of the out of bounds there.
Did you miss the Manda?
I made the Manda. Wait.
You might not be past it.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what. I think you picked the Manda.
Yeah, you gotta stretch out and move.
Past it on a play and then you missed the Manda. Oh, really?
Yeah, so when we walk up to Dana's disc, we realize that he didn't make it past the Mando, so he's allowed to take a shot from where his disc is lying. But once you cross that mandatory, it's considered missed, and then you'd have to take it to the drop zone from there. I didn't get my verdict up as high as I did in the first round. I ended up carrying long out of bounds.
It's like a speed 7 versus 12.
Simon finds himself in just about the same area.
Cook. Nice tree.
Fine?
Yeah.
There's Dana just getting under the basket to try to save his bogey now. And here's Dylan's birdie luck. Looks like maybe circle's edge just outside of the circle. And there's his favorite spot of the basket, just low. So now I have this for my par save. There it is. That putt felt good. If you look closely, I don't think the hitch was in my wrist on that putt. I'm able to pop it off with a little bit more spin. And Simon finding his favorite part of the basket up top. Just missing his par look there. He's going to be tapping in a bogey.
So why do you play disc golf?
I play disc golf so I can share my snacks with all my friends. Mike, you need an orange?
Why do you play disc golf?
For fun.
Good answer.
He has a hard time finding friends outside of disc golf.
Thanks to Laura for putting some pressure on there, doing a little interviewing as we're waiting for our backup. Just missed my line with that witness. That's my most understable disc in my bag. I try to get it to flip up late. And typically it gives me a nice little finish at the end as well. Unable to find my gap though.
Did he? Yeah, it's you. Yeah, it's your box, man. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Cool. Yeah, get away from here.
For the people playing the layup, that's probably the best way to do it. Just a little forehand, try to get into the middle of the fairway and give yourself a little easy up shot. Try to save your par. That looked good out of Simon's hand, but this is just such a tough tee shot. Couldn't navigate his way around all the trees. This is all I have here. It's just a little forehand roller right down the fairway, and I'm going to try to hook it up towards the basket at the end. And I am not mad at that result. Puts me inside the circle. I'm just a little bit obstructed with those trees there. It's a great turnover up shot from Simon. Everyone parks his up shot. So those are going to be a couple easy pars for those guys. Dana giving that a run. Fortunately, he was able to stay close. And here I am with those trees, and I almost can't even really see the basket from where I'm at. So I have to put this thing on a lot of anhyzer and really just commit to that angle and hope that I can curve it around the tree and into the basket. managed to pull it off. As long as everybody makes it happen, we should all be walking away with a nice par on this hole, which is actually really impressive.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about it for a minute. I got lots of shit to move. I don't have that like quick. Don't think about it. Now it's
I'm gonna pull mine out of there so it's out of your way. Cool.
Great putt by Simon there to save his par. Now we go into the last hole of the front 10. Dylan hit the gap with his justice, but hung it out a little bit too far left, and it never came back in time. All right, and I hit that gap perfect, just over the top of the basket. Left myself a long comeback there for the birdie, though. Nice shot by Dana there to give himself a short little birdie look. From where Dylan was, that was a pretty good bid for his birdie. Ouch. And unfortunately, Simon's going to be taking a bogey here. That's another sweet feeling birdie putt there. Gets me back within one stroke of Dylan. And Dana. Fortunately misses that short birdie look there. All right, well, that's going to do it for our front 10 coverage.
I took it for it. Well, not yet.
Be sure to come back for the back 9 and see how the rest of this tournament plays out. It's been a battle. Been within probably 3 or 4 strokes from first to last this entire event, so. Here's a little update. Dylan's sitting at 2 under. I'm 1 stroke back at 1 under. Simon's bumped up to +2, and Dana's sitting at 1 over himself. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook to keep up to date with everything that I've got going on. If you live in the Tonawanda area or Kenmore area, go check out Mustachio's Pizza. They have some good food, and if you're a Trilogy fan, go check out Truly Unique Disc Golf. These guys have been helping support me throughout the season, and the best way you can support them is to give back.
So why do you play disc golf?
I play disc golf so I can share my snacks with all my friends.